You know, Lloyd, just when I think you couldn't possibly be any dumber, you go and do something like this. And totally redeem yourself!
Poisonrana.
Hello.
Hello.
Braden Herrington here with Davie Portman for Poisonrana Live. You found us in whatever podcast app you are choosing to listen to us on. And it's Sunday, 3 p.m. Eastern time. And we are
live on youtube.com/@PoisonRanaPod. Hello, YouTube room. How we doing? Happy Sunday.
Happy Sunday.
Happy Dynasty Day.
That's right. It is a Dynasty night tonight, but we thought, you know what? Why not still go live today? There's other stuff to talk about in the world of wrestling, but we're getting together tonight at the BDE Towers, and we're going to have the boys over. We're going to watch some Dynasty, some Dynasty. We're going to have some good time. It's always a fun time.
Yeah, we assume, unless you're watching this live, a lot of you will be listening to this on Monday. So we're kind of going to skip over AEW this week and save it for Tuesday's show, as we will be dating ourselves. There's not much point us doing predictions for a show that's taking place very soon because
absolutely
date. So we're going to focus mainly on SmackDown this week because it was quite a newsworthy addition for good and for bad this week, and maybe chat a little bit about Dark Side of the Ring as well. So yeah. There's, as you said, we're on the road to WrestleMania. There's still plenty to talk about. But if you want our thoughts with this build to Dynasty and the Dynasty event itself, tune in on Wednesday this week. We'll be live Wednesday at 3 p.m. Eastern on the Post Wrestling feed for our review of NXT and our thoughts on AEW.
Yeah, some housekeeping off the top. We are not going live Tuesday night. It's our boy Graham's birthday, Golden Graham. We're going to a Brazilian steakhouse. We're getting all the meats, the injected cheese meats and everything. We're gonna ball out, and we're taking the night off to celebrate our buddies. So we're gonna hang out with our boy Graham, and we're gonna have a good night off. But then Wednesday, 3 p.m., catch us. We're gonna go through NXT like we do on Tuesdays, and then we're gonna talk all about dynasties. So a little bit of a double header there for you. A big Up Next Rana podcast coming to you live Wednesday at 3. So join us during the day over on Post Wrestling, because we'll be chatting all about the wrestling. And then next Sunday, are we locking in 2 p.m. next Sunday here, Poisonrana Live? I think it'll be the last Poisonrana before WrestleMania kicks off. So join us next Sunday, 2 p.m. We want to talk all previews about WrestleMania and everything like that. So let's get into the spirit of WrestleMania. It's like Christmas time for wrestling fans, you know? It's getting all exciting and everything. And that's where I want to publicly apologize to Triple H. You know, you really had me last week on this show. I was really upset. Paul. It's WrestleMania, you know? Step it up. So he had Gunther absolutely murder Jimmy Uso, and I went, that's what I like in my wrestling. So this week, a whole lot more interesting, I thought. Maybe it's those crowds. I'm over you guys singing. I'm sorry I said it. I don't want to say it. I'm over the singing. And now you got the Americans ripping you guys off, which is like, oh, for fuck's sake. But
I'll take singing over what and damn bam bam.
What chance will never go again. But we're back, baby.
I do find it interesting. I think there's such a thing in wrestling, especially WrestleMania, where like once the events happened, you sort of forget about a bit of the build. And I think that's kind of where we were maybe like butting heads a little bit last week, because I think actually this year they've built more than a lot of years. Like there's a lot of stories going on, but none of them had that like juicy angle that really gripped you. And it's funny, like everyone, some of the reviews we've done on like Up Yours or reviews from the 6, like WrestleMania. What did we do? We did WrestleMania 18, didn't we? Just now.
Recently.
And so many matches on this show are like, this match came about from SmackDown this past week, and now there's a European title match. And you're like, what? It's like Christian turning on the Raw Go Home show and all things like that, where you go, okay, like give the Fed some credit this time. they are building stories, but yeah, we needed a Jimmy Uso murder. We needed Charlotte Flair going all Charlotte Flair, for better or for worse, just to get a bit more interest. So yeah, I definitely think, we're now 2 weeks out. I think a lot of issues have been maybe too much build, or like too much length of build for some of these, where you really just want to have those angles to get you interested. But I think this week was definitely a step up.
Yeah, like I think back to I don't know if rose tinted glasses, but something along those lines, where it's like we all know as wrestling fans, at least people in our generation, like My Way has a special place in our heart. But midway through that video, it cuts to the storyline in the build with Deborah.
Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Like, wait, that build was kind of shit too. So
yeah,
builds in wrestling can be pretty bad. But you know what? I think a lot of the matches on this year's card of over 2 nights look like they'll hopefully like deliver some really big matches and moments. So as much as there's still some nitpicking with Raw and SmackDown, I did think this week was a big step up on both shows, where it felt like they still managed to, we'll go through everything, but like they've managed to get like new debuts in and make that special and fresh, and then tying all the stuff in with WrestleMania and everything. And it feels big. And then on top of that, like you see all the stuff they've announced that we've mentioned. They've announced the roast with Tony Hinchcliffe. Then they're doing after parties on both nights. Then they've now announced Wale Mania is part of the WWE thing, and it's going to be on Netflix. Like, how crazy. Like, they're just completely, this feels like the closest to WWE WrestleMania feeling like a Super Bowl they've got to that point. It felt like that last year, especially in the Eagles Stadium, because that was pretty cool. But like now it's like, wow, they have completely, like, it's always been big, but this really truly feels like they are going huge with it.
I think they've seen what the indies are doing over these weekends, and like, wait, we could be making this money, and for all the people that love going to those indie shows, we know there are completely just diehard WWE or nothing. So all these events are going to be successful, and it just makes them more and more money. I did hang out with our friend Samit on Friday, and he said he's going to the roast. So I'm excited for that, because this isn't being recorded. So I am interested in what is said at that event.
Well, we're seeing him tonight too. Shout out Samet. Shout out our friend Barack as well. I know they're going to be linking up for Vegas for WrestleMania. Maybe Samet can fill us in on some of the things that I'm sure people will be. I mean, it's a Hinchcliffe thing. It's a comedy thing. You might not be able to have your phone out. I mean, we've been to comedy shows.
I think it's been said it's not being filmed. Phones are being taken, like that kind of thing.
So Ric Flair is going to walk off again.
Yes.
That's probably what's going to happen. But yeah, it feels like a whole week of all this stuff going on, and you're going to have to pick and choose of what you consume, because like last year, being in Philly and experiencing WrestleMania weekend, going to a lot of the other stuff, whether it's visiting the store, which is a huge thing in itself, because there's literally any WWE thing you can think of, they're selling it and you'll be able to buy it. It's pretty incredible. There's WWE World. There's the Independence, there's the Collective, GCW, et cetera, and it's cool. And I'd say as a fan, like experiencing it once is totally like worth it. I'd say doing at least a WrestleMania weekend in your future. I know this year was just expensive. Shout out WrestleTix, because we love to look at them. But have you noticed this could potentially be one of the lowest like attended manias in a while, simply because the ticket prices are so expensive? Still going to break the gate, but like,
I mean, that's the thing. I think so many people do what we do. I
go watch it at the bar.
We'll figure out on the day if we can afford to go or not, and they're going to want that building filled. So you have to assume that some of these tickets are going to drop in price. They did for Elimination Chamber when they were here. I see them filling that stadium by the time the bell rings. But we've been talking about this the last few events. Like, have they started pricing themselves out a bit? And I think they have. Like you can't take a family to this. Like, you might as well have a family holiday somewhere. And they can, these European markets kind of boost them up a bit because they're not there all the time. But it's stateside WrestleMania, it's like, well, a lot of wrestling fans have been to a lot of WrestleManias, and it's like, I could skip this one and save up and go next year or whatever. But
it's ticket prices in general, right?
General.
Like we know, we're wrestling fans. It's gone crazy. Look at the comparisons. Of course, inflation and tariffs and this and that. But like, you compare just music in general, like Lady Gaga going on tour, drop tickets, and people are like going, come on, why all of a sudden is it like double the price of what it used to be when you toured like a year or two ago? So people are complaining about that. And, you know, like big artists like Oasis getting back together, of course, they're going to charge an arm and a leg. Like when Blink got together, of course, they're going to overcharge. Like when Coldplay is doing this huge world tour, it's like thousands of dollars. Like tickets for just anything are way more expensive. And I guess we're just going to have to get like used to that.
It's supply and demand though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like as a business, like why would you charge less if you're going to sell out? And it is playing with that thing where you go, okay, what is the saturation point? What is that breaking point of, okay, now you're turning your fans up. Oh, I'm not paying that.
Right.
WrestleMania is always one of those events that a lot of people do as a once in a lifetime thing. So they will be like, I'm paying whatever, I'm only doing it once. But when you're trying to do that for every single pay-per-view, it will get hard. And I think we are starting to see a little bit of that tipping point.
Absolutely. Like it's very, very expensive. And even if you were to plan to do both nights, like that's basically a whole other vacation right there. A flight to a whole other country or something. Like it's very, very expensive. But at the same time, if you're willing to pay it for these experiences, then it's totally worth it. And I do think it is worth it doing it at least once. Seeing, like, walking into now you've been to a whole lot more Manias than me, but I've never seen a stadium show. Like I went to a Wrestle Kingdom and there was like a lot of people, like 40,000 or something like that, maybe in a dome. And it was like, whoa, there's a lot of people here for wrestling. And I had never been to a stadium for wrestling because, as we mentioned, just recently going to the Sky Dome here for a chamber, I never went to WrestleMania 18. So I had never seen wrestling in that capacity. And then we went to, I think, like a Grand Slam. I'm not sure if we went to Mania or whatever first, but first time walking into a WrestleMania in that stadium, that's a feeling. Like you're like, okay, all the times
seeing the set and all that.
Yeah, all the times your mom or your friends will be like, oh, you like that wrestling? You walk in and there's fucking 80,000, 50,000, whatever, maybe other people that like this shit like you. You're like, oh wow, okay, this is pretty cool, and it feels big and special. It's totally worth doing at least once. So we're not going this year, and the FOMO for sure is definitely going to hit. But next year, Davie, New Orleans.
I think so. I definitely want to. I'm saving up already. Looking at it though, tickets have dropped significantly. Looking, cheapest ticket for night one is $190 right now, which from memory, that's less than it was this time last year.
Is that US?
That's US, yeah. But still, like I remember it being not as low as that last year, and that's in the 300s. The good thing as well is this is an indoor stadium, which sight lines are so much better. So you can kind of pay for those cheaper like corner seats for this, and shouldn't be an obstructed view. It'll be the same next to you in New Orleans. One of the things when you go to those outside stadiums, like it's cool. It's a cool feeling being outside for wrestling, but or last year it was a cold feeling being outside for wrestling, but it limits so much of that stadium because you can have a great big fucking pillar in front of you to have the canopy over the ring and that kind of thing. So looking, they are definitely starting to drop this year. So
last year there's places like people probably just bought like the cheapest ticket and then like stood in these areas where people can stand and stuff. Like you see that in stadiums and for concerts and stuff. It's the same thing, but like, it's totally. I'm happy that prices kind of dropped because they want people in there. They want it to be full as it should be. But if you can't afford to go, it's a bit of a bummer. But yeah. We'll jump through the rest of kind of what's going on in WrestleMania and everything. I do want to shout out some plugs that we got going on because we do have a whole lot going on with the podcast and WrestleMania season and everything. So if you haven't checked us out on Patreon, I would definitely advise you to go to patreon.com/Poisonrana. It's $5 to become a friend. You get access to all the shows this month and all the shows in that back catalog, including some big ones here. We just recently reviewed WrestleMania 18 from the Sky Dome in 2002. We recently looked at Honora, the Oscar winner sweeper. We recently looked at some best of the best. We looked at Spinal Tap. We've been all over the place, but we released episode 8 for our patrons, our Champ is Here series, where we've been going through the history of John Cena and his title wins and title reigns until we get to number sweet 17, hopefully one day. But we've been going through all the John Cena stuff through all the years, and we've had some great guests over the time. But episode 8 has dropped just a few days ago for our patrons, featuring Davie and myself and our guest, the Solomonster. Davie, you set this up because you went to WrestleMania with him a few years ago, didn't you? Or SummerSlam?
I've been a couple of events. WrestleMania, SummerSlam. Yeah, it's been a while, but yeah, it was when I first started going to events. Jason was someone I'd see kind of part of our group quite a lot, and
nice,
great guy. Been podcasting. I think he said 17 years or 18 years. Been doing his show covering all of pro wrestling, and yeah, he's a complete pro. And it was awesome chatting to Jason all about the build to Elimination Chamber 2010. Which, you know, an Elimination Chamber built up by a Bret Hart, Vince McMahon feud and Batista. And none of them are in the match.
But Bret Hart getting his leg injury, kayfabe, maybe.
Getting kicked in the gut.
We had the Bull Rider and his wife, Jewel. We had a lot going on. But this was such a good show. And obviously, Solomonster does all the different podcasts. We thought this is a great episode to release for free. So we are going to release this tomorrow, actually, at 6 p.m. We're going to live stream it right here on our YouTube page. So if you want to catch the live streaming, you can check it out at 6, but the audio will be dropping as well on this free feed here. So hit that subscribe and check out. If you like what you hear, you can get ready for all the other episodes. And so look, we like to give out some things for free. But if you do sign up to our Patreon, you'll get all the shows. You'll get early access to it. You'll get all the other episodes of The Champ is Here. Plus, we got 2 big shows to wrap up our WrestleMania season, because this week, Davie and I will be attempting one very big show. That's not the right way.
Paul White,
not Paul White, no. Maybe one day. But we are looking to play the game.
Yes, we are talking best match ever, Triple H, as he's going into the Hall of Fame this year. Put together the list. I'll be posting them on the Patreon and Facebook very soon. But yeah, looking through the best matches of Triple H's career, be talking about Cactus Jack, The Undertaker, the WrestleMania Triple Threat, the Raw Tag match where he injured himself. There's Triple H gets a lot of shit, but putting this list together, there's a lot of very good matches in there as well. And I'm excited on taking on the project of working out which one is the best.
Absolutely. And Triple H, I think, again, our generation, he used to split people, but the way Paul's been running the Fed right now, I think we owe it to him. We owe it to him. He's going into the Hall of Fame. He completely deserves it. Just from like the years of in-ring career, he deserves it, on top of not even, including all the other stuff in NXT and where he is now with, running WWE and stuff. So we thought, why not go through the best of Triple H? You rounded off some of those matches. There'll be some more, I'm sure. Shawn Michaels, Undertaker, maybe Bryan Danielson in there, and maybe Ultimate Warrior. Fit that in there somehow. Maybe not. But yes, we're going to go through the best of Triple H, and we'd love feedback. I'll probably get a feedback thread posted tomorrow during the day. And I'd love on the Facebook and on the Patreon, and would love any feedback, memories, matches. And even if you hated Triple H, you can be honest. It's a safe space, but we're going to talk about
even if you hated Triple H, you've got to admit, I don't think there's ever been anyone with as consistent amount of bangers as entrance music. So
Absolutely.
I'd like to talk a bit about that. What is the greatest Triple H theme?
That's a tough. You can't ask me that. That's a tough one. I love Lemmy and Motorhead so much, but My Time is fucking sick. It is. Yeah. It is. Yeah. We're gonna nerd out over Triple H because we think he deserves it. So this is gonna be a Reign of Terror podcast. So this will be coming out this week. And if that's not enough, next week we will be reviewing, in part with the new WWE doc, on the last time they did a WrestleMania in Vegas, WrestleMania 9, featuring JR in a toga. Very excited about this. Is it WrestleMania 9?
It is WrestleMania 9. I don't think I've ever seen this one front to back. So I am looking forward to that.
I feel like front to back, you're right. I've definitely seen some of the stuff through it. I remember watching this a bunch, but like front to back, definitely not. So WWE's launching this doc that's covering like behind the scenes of this WrestleMania. So we actually kind of switched we were going to do it this week, but this documentary coming out actually coincides with us planning to review this show. So we're going to watch that as well and then review the pay-per-view in full next week. So
I'm very much hoping for a lot of Brett shooting on Terry in this documentary.
Oh, yeah. Very, very good. Yes. Can't wait. So we're going to talk all about that. So these are two other big shows coming on the Patreon. And again, if you haven't ever subscribed, why not try now? It's $5. It's buying us a coffee. It's buying us a beer and buying yourself a whole lot of podcasts in there. And it connects to your RSS feed, goes into your podcast app. There's also a Spotify thing we got going on. You can check that out as well. Subscribe through that. But appreciate no matter what anyone's support. You can support by liking the podcast, subscribing to this one. It's free. You can subscribe and listen to all the free shows that we got. And write us a nice little review. Apple, Spotify, whatever it is.
Yeah.
It goes a long way. And comments and all this stuff. Appreciate the love. Shout out longtime listener Smokey, who last week said I was a little too mean. And you were probably right. So I want to say I love you, brother. Thank you for listening. Appreciate everyone. It's WrestleMania season, and I feel like this is a good time for wrestling fans to get together. So I appreciate all the love out there, regardless if you subscribe or not. We feel it. Thank you.
And if you want to get together with other wrestling fans to watch WrestleMania, we will be holding our WrestleMania watch party at Gabby's on both the Saturday and the Sunday. Doors open an hour before the event starts. Get your tickets now. There are only 10 tickets left for the entire weekend. So don't wait too long. I can't guarantee once they're gone that we'll be able to get in any more people. But this is going to be fun. We've got these events down pat now. So like they're super fun at Gabby's, and can't wait for you all to come along and try and win some prizes, try out the drinks, the food, sing, cheer, and get merry.
Absolutely. We love our little community here in Toronto of our wrestling fans, and we get together, have the bar full. People are loving it, sitting together and watching the Graps. And it's 2 nights in a row. It means it's a bit of a bender of a weekend. Not only is it Easter, but it's also 420. So I imagine it's going to be a whole... I haven't told my mom yet. She's like, oh yeah, Easter. Maybe we'll have a family get together. I'm like, oh, shit. I'm sure a lot of people are like that this year.
Yeah.
You know, it's tough. Maybe you only have to have time to watch one.
Who really celebrates Easter?
Yeah, you know, a Portuguese family. They're
fifth
like,
sick holiday of the year.
Yeah, I know. But but anyways, we're going to watch some wrestling on Saturday and Sunday. It's what the Lord would intend us to do. And it's watch WrestleMania. And that's what we're going to do. So Poisonrana.ca for everything that we do. Go give us a follow and check out our Mania party coming soon. 2 weeks away, right?
2 weeks away.
Less
yes.
than 2 weeks. Let's go. Let's do it.
Well, let's get into some wrestling. Kicking off with, we're going to be talking mainly about SmackDown this week, and starting off with some bad news, unfortunately. And no, I'm not talking about Wade Barrett. Kevin Owens is injured. He came out like Nick Aldis. This had kind of leaked on Fightful that he was dealing with an injury. The extent of the injury wasn't known. Nick Aldis came out to kind of set up this segment, and Owens came out and said, yeah, his neck's been hurt for 4 months. He's been dealing with an issue. He now has to go and get surgery and is out indefinitely. Kind of a weird segment, because I got the sense, and I had this sense myself as a viewer, where I was going, is this legit? For the longest time. And I really felt the Chicago crowd felt that as well, because you heard some people like booing the character of Kevin Owens, because it seems like, you know, the whole story, Randy trying to kick his head off, it's like this convenient injury he comes up with in kayfabe to like get out of the match. And even when Orton's music hit, I'm like, oh, okay, this is an angle. But Orton kind of just gave him like a nod of respect. And then I think it wasn't until Owens was leaving where this crowd were like, oh shit, this is real. So yeah, just really like really sad stuff. Like it's kind of not surprising the amount of bumps Owens takes, the style he works, that he's gone relatively injury free a lot of his career. But yeah, this sucked.
Absolutely. Like, again, part of me was like, wait, it fits into this character that he would like lie.
He's out there wearing pink. It's like, okay.
He's wearing Bret Hart. He's like, yo, please, you can't kick my head off because like my head is barely on my shoulders, essentially. And like, I'm not gonna. A part of me was like, oh, this has to be a bit. But then we saw. I think you're right. I think it was Fightful. A bunch of people, and then Kevin Owens has since now done an interview that has definitely circulated. I forget where it was. Apologies, but I keep seeing people quoting this, saying that he's upset that this was leaked, which would also lead into like a heel thing. But like, no, this seems pretty legit. And I just had to make sure, like, his last match was in Toronto with Sami Zayn, the Canadian Classic, as I'm calling it. That's crazy to me. I hope that I hope that he's okay. This does seem like it is legit. I hope that he's okay. I hope that we do get to see him again. Like, holy shit. Like we're taking him for granted. You said, he's not someone that feel like there hasn't been a lot of injuries, at least like big serious ones reported. And he says that he's been working with this for a while. He says it wasn't the match. It wasn't this match. It was not even the ladder match. It was like something else that stemmed this injury. And
the ladder match and the Sammy match isn't going to help.
No, of course
like
not.
that bump through the ladder.
Holy, yeah. But it's like this guy has been like the company like guy for a while, like low key, like main event of WrestleMania like a few times in the past few years, has been the guy they through the pandemic like really helped, did wrestle in front of no one like every week, and I felt like this past run like was some of his best stuff in my opinion. Like how long I was like, I'm missing that Steen, and then the last few months I've gotten it. I've completely like a few months now where I'm like, wow, this was awesome. Loved the match with Cody, loved the match with Sami Zayn, and of course we were there. We're like, oh my god, this is fantastic. And then it's like it's just pulling it out underneath you. Like, no, wait, what? This can't be. So
it's one of those things. Obviously, we hope he can come back and return. And like, no wrestler wants to go out like kind of forced to retire. They want to go out on their own terms.
Yeah.
But if this is the end, could you kind of write a better ending? Like ending with your best friend in Canada, in the Sky Dome. Like it's kind of a bittersweet ending. I'd love to see him come back. I think we still would like one more world title run for Kevin Owens.
Absolutely.
He's done everything. He's been the champ. He's main evented with Austin. He main evented with his best friend. Like he's done everything there is to do, but I'm sure he'd like that one more title run, like as the guy. Really hope he's able to come back, but it's about getting healthy. And Chris in the chat's bringing up, I'd like to know what happened after Kevin confronted that fan in the aisle. It looked as though it was about to turn ugly. Yes, I did notice that. Someone yelled something.
They yelled, they yelled, you're still shit. And he's like, yo, what the fuck? Like, I just cut a promo saying I'm quit and like I'm injured and all this, and you're like, and then it cut away. But I did see a few videos.
But again, I got the sense so many people were maybe thinking this is an angle, even. And you bringing up Owens kind of upset about it being leaked.
Yeah.
Looking back, he was almost like, yeah, I'm injured or whatever. Like, see ya. Like it wasn't like your Edge speech or your Bryan speech or some of them. It sucks. It really sucks. And
he's been great in the last few months where it's like, this is such a shame. They did such a good build to this match and the moment of wanting to see Randy. It sucks that if this is legit, there were Randy's like, I can't wait to injure you. And I can't now because this is, we did a movie review in the last year or so, Davie. Randy's going to be like Hot Rod. Randy's like, fuck, in the movie, he wants to beat up his stepdad, but his stepdad's injured. So he's like, I'm going to get money to make sure that you get healthy and get your surgery. So then I can kick your head off. That's basically what Randy's like hoping for. But all the best for Kevin Owens, man. All the love we're sending from Canada to our Canadian superstar here. We love this guy. And this is always a shame. Never forget that these are real people. These superheroes and villains that we see It might be fake, but we get a lot of real injuries and real bumps, and they do that for our entertainment, and it always sucks. And he'll be definitely missed, and we're pulling for you, Kevin. We're pulling for KO to have a return, hopefully sooner rather than later.
Well, let's move on to Randy Orton, because he's now opponentless at WrestleMania. He RKO's Nick Aldis to kind of end the segment. But what do you think Randy Orton's potential Mania plans could be?
Third man.
Another multi-man?
No. What was I saying? I was joking when Cena, when The Rock did the thing with Cena Chamber, like afterwards, it was like, oh, there's still one more, because Cena was 2, right? When he did the 2 pose and the cutthroat. So maybe there's the third man. I'm not talking Mabel King Vis. I'm talking Randy Orton. Maybe maybe we don't get John Cena versus Randy Orton one more time. Maybe we get John Cena and Randy Orton teaming together one more time. Remember, they took out the Raw roster once. They could do it again with The Rock. They'll take over WWE. I don't know. That's just going way out there. But I don't know. Sami Zayn?
Yeah, I think there's a few different options. Sami has obviously been written off. Doesn't seem to have Mania plans. As far as I'm aware, he's healthy, and it's just kind of selling that Toronto match. I think also thinking about it, it's just been like Ramadan as well. So Sami fasting and that kind of thing might be a reason not wanting to work so much, but that's over now, I think.
Right.
So you could do Sami, and it doesn't have to be a heel Sami or a heel Randy. You could just be Sami, like, hey, as much as we've fought and we've hated each other, Kevin is still my brother, and I kind of want to face you at Mania to like honor him almost. That's definitely a route you could do. I kind of wouldn't mind having like the mystery opponent thing as well. You know, Aldis saying, no, you will be having a match at WrestleMania, but you're not going to find out till the day. And it could be a way to, I don't know, bring in one of your new signings, your Rusevs, your Aleister Blacks, maybe. Although it would probably mean them coming in to lose at WrestleMania. So I don't know, but I see him being on the show. He's way too big not to be on the show. Or you can always do like have someone like, you know, if Drew McIntyre beats Priest on night 1, he could come out for a spontaneous match on night 2. Like with the 2 thing, there are people you could maybe use twice or something.
You said surprise. Like, I think if Sami was the surprise, that would also be cool. But I don't know. I don't know. Like, I feel like I see someone in the chat right now is saying maybe it's Aldis because he RKO'd him, and Aldis could be like, hey, you RKO'd me. Why don't you just face me? I don't know if that's the best route. Sorry, Nick Aldis, but like, I guess. I don't know.
Whatever this is, it doesn't need to be a long thing. It's more like we need to get Randy in front of the fans and hit an RKO. And especially someone like Orton, this stage of his career, you kind of you don't know when the last WrestleMania will be. So you don't really want to put him on the shelf. And yeah, I mean, maybe 5 minutes against Aldis. I'm not the biggest Nick Aldis in-ring fan, but there is story there that if you did just want to build up to an RKO or a punt or whatever, that is something you can maybe do.
We can't get the punt now. Like, he's been talking about it, which sucks, but like, you can't just punt random people. It's the
sure he can.
Unless it's Cody Rhodes. Unless it's Cody Rhodes night 2, you know, Stone Cold might try to save Cody Rhodes, but Randy Orton could stop him and help Cena win or something. I don't know. Maybe that's just too out the box, but like, Randy's still a big deal, and it sucks because I thought they did a good job of this build, thinking back to Chamber and that.
Yeah, it was one of the biggest built like non-title singles match on the show. Like it's been a long time this has been built up, so it sucks it's this close. Like, I'm sure Owens has been weighing up whether he can gut it through the match and then take time off. Obviously, it's pretty serious that he's not doing that. Even just, you know, doing a right, if it is just punt or whatever, but if it's to do with the neck, that's such a
don't want to do it,
dangerous move to try and do.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, that was that. Let us know your thoughts in the comments, or if you're listening to this after the fact, give us a tweet or a Blue Sky message. Who do you think Randy's opponent will be at Mania, or what his involvement will be? Now, we had another segment that's been getting a lot of talk, and for the right reasons or the wrong reasons, might be one of my favorite segments of the year so far. Because Charlotte and Tiffany Stratton went at it verbally. And, well, I think in that like satellite side-by-side segment last week, Charlotte completely obliterated Tiffany and didn't give her much chance to have a rebuttal. This felt like it was designed to be Tiffany's rebuttal, but seemed like Charlotte's going to Charlotte, and got a little rattled here by this crowd, and things got a little prickly. Things got a little spicy here. And I'd say that this was horrendous and just brilliant at the same time. I got a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun watching this one.
Best thing that could happen to this feud.
Absolutely.
Like whether this was intentional or not. Now I watched this on Twitter. I didn't watch SmackDown Live, but I had seen someone say, here's the full segment before WWE edits it. And I thought that was a funny caption from someone, and I watched it. So today I watched the rest of SmackDown. They edited it.
They have? Wow.
They just for the record, if you go back on Netflix and watch anything WWE after it's aired already, if you go put on SmackDown or put on Raw, they edit a lot, actually. They edit in audio, they edit in chants, they edit in, like, it's very noticeable now. I've gone through and looked at Raw, and I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, they add sounds and all sorts of fun things. But they edited this thing where they removed some of the lines in this promo, and they censored some things as well. So if you haven't watched it, I'd say you got to watch it through like other means, Twitter or Instagram, because people did catch it and capture it and put it up. And yeah, I think this is the best thing that could have happened to this feud, because I wasn't digging whatever Charlotte was putting down. And I think that she was the problem in this. She just comes across kind of boring. And then I'm seeing all these things from her appearing on TV just yesterday or 2 days ago before this, or she's coming across like a real human being being interviewed, talking about how, you know, she's going through a divorce and she's got anxiety and people judging her and comparing her to Rick and this and that and the stuff with Andrade. And then you have her on TV being just a mean girl, complete bitch. And then Tiffany says that to her, like, yo, you're on TV whining, and then you come out here and you're a bitch. So that was enough for me to be like, wow, holy shit, like, that's fucking true. And then this Chicago crowd just booed her ass back to Charlotte here. Just insane, like crazy that she didn't know what to do. And they really gave it to her here. They really rattled her. They really shook the cage of Charlotte here. She didn't know how to handle it.
It's very interesting. Someone like a veteran like Charlotte, and this isn't the first time. Like I think back to the trading of the belts moment with Becky, which was awful. And I feel there's been other times you can tell, like, I think this is meant to be collaborative, right? And it's interesting because we've had two examples of very similar segments, but very different in Cody and Cena on Monday, which is, you know, getting in some of those like biting lines, some personal kind of real life stuff, getting in there. But it feels that segment, it felt a bit more, it's your turn, it's my turn, it's your turn, it's my turn. And probably gone before the segment, like, hey, are you cool if we just say some shit about each other? Yeah, we're selling a match, let's do it. Whereas this just, it wasn't collaborative. It was talking over each other. It's when, like, and I think you could tell when Charlotte was really rattled.
It's Charlotte talking over her. I don't think Tiffany ever.
And it's so weird because Charlotte like cannot not have the last word. Like, she has to win. And I don't think this segment was designed like that. This segment was designed to have Tiffany kind of, this is now me talking you down. I am the champion and I'm going to do this to you. And I think the crowd, and then it reminded me of like the Ricky Starks, Adam Copeland thing as well. You know, when Ricky says bug eyes and you just see Cope like pissed off and starts just shooting on him. It felt like that. The combination of this crowd and Tiffany, I guess, with like the divorce line, just pissed off Charlotte and then went in on her. It definitely makes the match more exciting, but it's you'd think Charlotte is kind of above this by now, and you add it as well. Like, she just doesn't seem like a real person on TV a lot of the time. She feels, whereas I think post Vince, we have moved into characters feeling a bit more human and grounded a lot of the time. You still have goofy wrestling characters, but it feels a little bit more grounded, whereas she's still very much in this two-dimensional queen role. And even lines like when she's called a Nepo baby and it's like, no, I'm a Nepo queen. It like just feels 2D and these are my monikers and my lines and whatever. But when it went off the rails, I don't know. I had a lot of fun.
Again, I'll say it third time. Like this was the best thing, because now Charlotte, you have to deliver in this match. Like, I don't know if they did clear some of these lines. I don't know the Ludwig. So Tiffany, I think Tiffany rattled her right from the beginning, because holy shit, this crowd were so on her side. I think every crowd is on Tiffany's side. She's just she's the it girl right now. She is the star, as we've talked about her on NXT for a year and some change. And we were like, yeah, as soon as people see her, she's going to be a star. And that's instantly what does she become? Because as soon as like seconds into this promo, Tiffany said, hey, Chicago, what time is it? Everyone right on cue. Like, whose house? It's Tiffy time. It's the same. Like, look, they were right there. And Charlotte's like, fuck, I don't have that power. And then tries to do it. And the crowd fucks Charlotte up, where she's like, wow, like Tiffany's controlling the crowd and I can't. And I'm like losing it. It looked like it pissed her off.
It did.
And like, again, I don't know what lines were clear. I don't know I don't know if it's totally a Sunny Days type thing, but the ending of this is, you know, Tiffy bringing up the marriage and comparing her to Ric Flair of, you know, yeah, you're fumbling in real life. And then Charlotte saying, yeah, well, why is Kaiser in my DMs? And now Kaiser, right away, after I watched this, I went to Twitter to see it. Well, it must have said something. And he has posted a video of Shawn Michaels in a promo being like, what did he say here? Please don't flatter yourself. Along those lines, right? And like, yeah,
it's funny. You mentioned the Sunny Days thing, and it's kind of not maybe that, but something I feel we've moved away from is politics in wrestling, especially in WWE, and, you know, paranoia about losing your spot. Now, whereas I think of someone like a Becky Lynch, who has been in Charlotte's position, where she's going up against a young up and comer. Obviously, she did the NXT run. Like, Becky will get spicy comments in there, but you get the sense she is really genuinely wanting to elevate the people around her. You just get this sense with Charlotte that she's paranoid about losing that spot, you know, and maybe maybe I'm reading into this too much, but maybe does feel threatened by a Tiffany Stratton, and hearing this crowd, like how since she's returned, they're just not into her. And I think it's because people are fed up of her just going away, coming back, being right in the title picture, winning a title right away, not necessarily enhancing the people around her. And this is exactly what's happening again. And I think maybe seeing how uncollaborative it's been, that side by side where she just destroyed Tiff the other week and didn't let her get a word in. And now this case here, it was like the crowd being like, no, we're not letting you get a word in this week. We want to hear from Tiffany. It's very interesting, and I fucking love it.
Yeah, I really liked it. Maybe, again, this, I don't know if it was intentional, but I feel like this could split people. I'm sure people are like, oh, this was awful. I'm like, I think this adds to it, right? Like, the smart thing is they hopefully get on the same page and realize, like, there's two to tango, and like, you can't actually go out there and hate each other, because you're here to make money and put on a big match in a moment and everything. And I really hope Tiffany wins this match, because you could totally shoehorn Charlotte getting this title here, but like
I can totally see the plan until like an hour before is Tiffany winning, and then Charlotte's like, "Hey, I've got an idea.
Yeah.
What if I win?
What if I do?
What if
I'm the one who wins?" Either way, I hope we do get a good match. Like Charlotte can be hit or miss when it comes in ring. She can put on classics and then she can put on stinkers, and hopefully this is an all-timer because Tiffany is at a level right now. Like she's killing it. She's got the crowd in her hands. She's the champ. She's over. She's putting on solid matches. She's like all around superstar. So I love this. I thought Tiffany just burned her so badly. Even the Kaiser line was like an attempted last Hail Mary of like trying to like, come on, really? Kaiser in your DM, Charlotte? Okay. Yeah. The recently divorced.
Yeah.
You know, Charlotte though could come back at Tiff with some heat. If she said, if she brings up Logan Paul, Fabian Eichner, like there's a few things Charlotte could load in that holster, but
Chris in the chat is saying Charlotte should have made an accusation about her and Giovanni Vinci.
Right.
That would have been better than the line she used about Kaiser.
Yeah. Expect that one.
It did come. Like, yeah. I bet afterwards she's like, fuck, I wish you know, when you're in a fight and you just like seconds after you're like, I should have said that.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, exactly. I'm sure we'll get
it. Did feel a bit of desperate, like, let's people know you and Kaiser are together. Let's just throw something in there.
I do see that coming into play. I do think Charlotte will try to get some digs in, but like, yeah, Tiffany kind of said it already. Like, you're a two-faced liar, bitch, and you're divorced. Fuck you. It's like, whoa, oh shit, okay, damn. She's cooking. So, yeah, I loved this. I love this segment so much that I've watched the certain clips of it so many times. Again, on like X or whatever because of the edited version, but I thought Tiffany did a great job. A standout moment, I'd say, in her career here. Like people will remember, hey, remember when she just absolutely cooked Charlotte, that Charlotte tried to throw this one line. Like it seemed desperate as all hell. So intended or not, great segment from these women. And I really hope they deliver at WrestleMania. And shout out this bar I went to last night. Golden Graham, our friend, took me to Newmarket, Ontario. And our bartender at the Goat looked exactly like Tiffany Stratton. We just kept yelling out Tiffy time. So shout out the Goat in Newmarket if you're ever in town. Great spot.
The ongoing story throughout SmackDown was what is the favor CM Punk wants from Paul Heyman. It kind of started the show and closed the show. And the favor being revealed that Paul Heyman will be in CM Punk's corner at WrestleMania.
What's your favor? Tell me what's your favor. You know that song, Flavor?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, making sure. Yeah, this is a classic wrestling what's the favor thing. Like very smart since they made that a thing around Survivor Series because you knew people picked up on it. You knew that would become an angle, a storyline. And I thought they did a great job of having Paul Heyman like talking to him, and then Punk's like, oh, he's not even here. No, I'm not talking to you until like he's here. And then the best thing I saw was Heyman waiting for him, and then he's like, my tribal chief, and then it's Seth Rollins. I saw the greatest tweet, and I retweeted where it's me to my Uber Eats order. My tribal chief, you are here. Oh, please, thank you so much. And then the guy gets out of the car like, what the fuck? Just great storytelling from Paul Heyman as always. CM Punk too. Like,
I really like this. I've seen people a little split. I've seen some people being like, "Oh, that's it."
Yeah.
For me, it's how it's been executed though, and I think Heyman has done such a good job over the years where he's not just a manager. Like he says it. It's like I love you. I love these people, and it's not, you know, Deborah, who is just randomly thrown in as a manager and whose corner she's going to be in. There's such a connection between Heyman and Roman and Heyman and Punk. Megan in the chat saying, I will walk down that aisle with you one day, Paul Heyman to CM Punk in 2013, telling him in that bus, you will be in a WrestleMania main eventer one day. I think it's anyone else, it wouldn't work, but just Heyman's performance is so good. Like the way he gets into the zone, like, you know, like he probably didn't sleep the night before this segment and that kind of thing, so he can look all puffy and bloodshot eyes and crying and all that. And I think it adds a nice wrinkle to it. I think it's like CM Punk's last WrestleMania match was with Paul Heyman walking him down the aisle. I think it will be a pretty cool visual to see that again. I think both coming out Cult of Personality, but I think it tips the hand even more that Heyman's screwing both guys over and joining Seth Rollins.
Well, I just referenced my tribal chief, you are here. Seth got out the car. Was it tinted? Or was he just saying, hey, Seth, my tribal chief, meaning come WrestleMania. Right? Little things that they tell us. I do still think that is what is happening, because you're saying like, oh yeah, like referencing the Deborah stuff, like, oh, Deborah was thrown in there. It still feels like Seth is thrown into this mix because he's like, hey, you guys are fighting about each other and you're forgetting about me. And that was what he interrupted and came out. So I'm hoping it does lead to this. I think he has the most to gain from this. Roman and Punk will be absolutely unfazed if they lose WrestleMania. It doesn't matter. Like, they still will main event WrestleMania next year. Again, like, it's fine. I just think Seth is the odd man out here. Of course, we're going to get this match, but I'm still like, I kind of wish it was just Punk and Roman, but Seth winning and having Paul screw them both, I think is the reason that it'll work.
It is also, it kind of does feel more like Seth's story in a way. If you go right back to, well, the feud with Roman's been going on forever. Feud with Punk, as soon as Punk showed up at War Games, and, kind of Seth losing the singles match against Punk, winning in the cage, but not really. Being screwed over in his title match against Roman at the Royal Rumble. Like, these things have been, like, it does feel logical that Seth would turn and join Heyman, because it's how he's going to get himself to the next level. Because these two have basically been holding him back in his career, or at least the way he sees it is. And I thought he actually played it pretty well, where keeping the focus on the Punk and Roman thing, but just like laughing in the corner because it's your two enemies just going at it and upsetting each other, and he's just there like, oh. It's one of the times I actually understood why he was laughing.
Yeah, I want Paul Heyman with Seth Rollins, and I want Rollins to dress like, all black, none of this stupid Elton John shit. I want, like, the all black and the one streak of blonde. I want that back, and I want him serious. I want him like cold killer, goes for the title. Although he'd be going against Cody, or I guess I don't know where we go after. Would this feud continue with these three? Like, where would we go with these three guys?
Seth is Raw, technically, isn't he? So you could have him, going after Jey Uso if Jay's the champion. Like, there's all that stuff you can do. Which also ties in with bloodline lore with Heyman. And Magan's saying Seth Rollins doesn't need a mouthpiece. And I wouldn't necessarily see Heyman's right. Think Heyman's role when he was with Brock Lesnar was very different to when he was with CM Punk. CM Punk didn't need a mouthpiece, but it's having that person to bounce off of, right? And it's a different role as the manager. And I actually think it would freshen up Seth Rollins a lot. And I think Seth has leveled up the last couple of years. I think when he's dialed in with his promos, I think he is pretty good. I think this could be the next evolution of Seth Rollins, and could make him a major threat on the Raw brand for, say, a Jey Uso.
Yeah, you know what? You're right, because if Jay beats Gunther, which should happen, hopefully, you have evil Seth like being more of a killer, like I'm describing, like now that he's turned with Paul, and then takes that title and has a bit of a run with it. I think that could be pretty good. I think that'd be interesting. And again, it wouldn't hurt Roman or Punk, because they could easily go feud or do other stuff. I
think eventually there's been that thing of Braun Breaker being a Paul Heyman guy as well. So that is when you want to push Braun, like Braun just destroying Seth for the title, like way down the line with Heyman eventually aligning with him, maybe, is something you could do.
Yeah. I'm still like, this isn't the most exciting match for me this WrestleMania season, but I still think all three of the guys are doing good stuff. I loved Roman with his best wise guys talking to Paul, like, oh, tell this guy, tell you cry, wipe those tears. Like Roman can be pretty funny. The Roman since like this whole WWE blow up and Bloodline taking over the world and everything, like his confidence in ring acting is like through the roof.
Yeah.
Like it's gone like so good. Like you could see him in movies essentially.
And I love how he's exactly the same character as the tribal chief, but babyface now. Like it's way more believable. Like he's still pretty heelish, to be honest. It's just we like him. Like he hasn't really changed. He hasn't done a 180, and he hasn't apologized to anyone really, has he? Who he's fucked over the time. Like it's I think it works, and he's like he doesn't necessarily need Heyman anymore. He can stand on his own 2 feet and cut these promos and things. So it will help him take the next step forward as well.
So I do think like they'll pull some bells and whistles. They'll have some big moment, especially ending the show. Like I do imagine some big turn with Heyman, and he's screwing over someone, right? Like,
and I think from Heyman's point of view as well, you know, Punk hit the GTS on Roman closing the show, and that's like, you know, Heyman's love laid out there by his other love, and it can be a justified turn. It isn't just a swerve to swerve. It's like, hey, you're supposed to be my friend. You're supposed to be my best friend, and you put me in that position, and then. Like similarly with Roman, like Roman, you told me not to. Like you trust me, and I'm your guy, and you know this relation I have, and you know I pulled that favor for you, and you tell me no. Like I think there's justification for Heyman to turn on both guys as well, not just for the sake of turning.
It's like, hey, you know what? You both suck, so I joined with Seth.
Yeah,
and we're gonna run things our own way now. So yeah, I definitely see what. I could see why people are like, oh, that's the favor, but Punk tying it into, you know, real things, referencing Big Show, RVD on the bus, etc. Like it was very smart. And that's what I mean. Like Punk is so good at storytelling in the acting. I think all the characters here, even Seth, he has leveled up and over the years. I wouldn't necessarily still say he's a promo guy, but he can hang. And I think last year showed that he could hang with like The Rock and all that kind of stuff. So I think they're doing a good job of at least, you know, making people want to watch this match. There has to be some payoff. That is why this is happening. So we're going to get a big moment, I'm sure, when this match comes around. And they should add that, like, it is triple threat, but like I imagine, like I said, bells, whistles, weapons, tables, chairs, all the hardcore stuff, because we might need that for some stuff in this. But yeah,
we're gonna have the moment where, you know, Heyman's got the belt, not the belt, the chair or whatever in the middle, and he's got to pick who he's hitting. You're going to have all the drama, all the cinema.
And then it's like, who's Paul Heyman going to side with?
Yeah.
And then Brock Lesnar comes out.
Oh, boy.
No, I'm kidding. Please, I don't want to see that. But yeah, like the Heyman guy thing will carry on with Seth. I think we shall see. But yeah, I'd say I think a fun segment and like ongoing story. And I think Punk was in his element in Chicago. Like he feels at home and the king there next to Ferris Bueller. So like, yeah, cool, good stuff with that. Like I'm excited to see what we get with the finish of what happens.
We had a big debut as well on SmackDown. Rey Fenix made his debut, finally wrestling again, coming to WWE. Great showcase, like perfect opponent in Nathan Fraser from NXT. Also, I guess, having his SmackDown debut here. Pretty fun match, and I think really getting to show like an audience who might not be familiar with either guy what they are capable of, and how kind of, I guess, high flying sort of evolved a little bit, because we don't see this style a lot in WWE despite having all these luchadors. And then they kind of gave the same presentation as Penta, where they allowed him to get on the mic and speak and address the fans after. But I thought they did a pretty solid job here with Fenix.
Absolutely. I mean, so shout out Nathan Fraser. We do Up Next every Tuesday. We watch him every week, and his in-ring ability, he is the fastest guy in the ring. He's the Flash in wrestling terms. Like he is so quick. And I think this showcased him just as much as as Rey Fenix here, because like he came across like the perfect guy. He was matching the craziness, the fast, the speed, the lucha stuff. Wade Barrett doing a good job too, covering him, saying like, hey, like if you don't know this guy, you will eventually. Like you should know him, but if you don't, you should. So shout out Nathan Frazier. We praise him and Axiom. We love, best tag team going, best tag team of the year last year, and probably going for 2 for 2 this year as well. But just a great showcase from him. But yes, Rey Fenix. Got to shout out the one thing I didn't like. The seizure-inducing entrance here. They got to change that. They're going to change that. That was a lot for me. Like, oh my God. I've never had a seizure, knock on wood. I don't have anything that gets triggered, but like that will be the thing that does it. Like, oh my God, just tone it down just a tiny bit. Just like that is a bit extreme. It was making me be like, I can't look at my screen. Stop. Please. Holy shit. It was basically turning a strobe light right into the camera as he's coming out. Like, oh fuck, that was a bit strong, a bit much. But everything else, oh my God, this guy, we've seen him in AEW and all the other stuff in before coming to WWE, and we know this talent. We've seen how incredible this dude is, and now everyone got a little snippet of what to expect, and first impressions can mean a lot. And I think they nailed it here with the crazy moves, the Mexican muscle buster, the fire thunder driver, sort of like they let him do some crazy shit. The right away naming moves, like we've seen him do that running kick all the time, but right away he yells
the rope walk one.
Yeah. So now he yells, "Goodbye, amigo," and then he runs and kicks, and right away the commentary like, "Oh, that's the goodbye, amigo kick." I'm like, okay, nice. They're really like hitting you over the head with the moves and everything. So really thought they killed it. And the promo afterwards referencing like, hey, Chicago, I have a lot of history. We know Davie. We were at the original All In where he main evented. So like fucking awesome. Like
also not shying away from them being brothers. I like them being on separate brands. I think we've been saying this right from when it looked like they were leaving AEW. We were saying we really hope they get singles runs. But their logos looking the same style and things like it's a cool thing where you just go, yeah, these guys are brothers. Eventually you can see one of them saving the other from something down the line. But right now, let's have fun with this singles run. I believe he's facing Berto next week, which another good opponent for him. Yeah. Do you see anything for Mania? Obviously, Mania is just around the corner.
Yeah, it's a weird time to bring someone in simply because we're focused on WrestleMania. So I don't know if necessarily he gets put in
Randy Orton.
Yeah, I imagine the RKO.
The RKO.
Yeah, on Ray, but that would suck to right away bring him into to get beat like that. But it's just awesome. Like I know, like the people who don't like a lot of the style like this. What do they call it? Flippy shit, right? Yeah. I'm sure they'll eat those words or stop talking about that and talk about, oh, look how awesome this guy is because now it's in WWE. And I feel like this guy's had an incredible career before WWE. Same with Penta, but this is the big time, right? This is the company in the world of wrestling, and like most wrestlers still, this is where they want to go. And you could tell both these guys were very vocal about that over the years, and to finally see it happen and see how emotional he was in his promo, talking about Animal and talking about I am WWE, and I'm happy to see it. And these two guys are incredible, and the time they get together or wrestle each other, and we need that PLE in Mexico.
I think what I'd like to see at this year's Mania, and it's funny because it would be another multi-man match, but having just kind of some showcase. They did it WrestleMania 39 with the Street Profits, Braun and Ricochet, Alpha Academy and Viking Raiders, which was way more fun than it had any right of being. And I think you've got these people who are really exciting, like a Rey Fenix, who you could just throw in some random lucha tag match kind of thing, like a trios match or just something like WrestleMania Showcase, and you get them on the card, and it can be some nice like palate cleanser in between your big hot feuds. And I don't always like just random matches being thrown together, but I feel this year could maybe do with it, and especially with some of the talent you've got involved.
Yeah, I can't wait to see some of the matches. I mean, already teasing Legado with the thing saying "Me gusta," and then Berto's got the match. I'm sure we'll get Rey versus Legado all the different variations through there. Like there's a bunch. I'm trying to think of like wrestling wise, like a Rey Fenix versus Gunther. You know what I mean? Like that'd be
that happened on the
It's
Indies
happened
and
before.
Yeah. I think that's where Ray's like face was just all bloody under the mask, and like his mask was all ripped.
I want Penta versus Rey Fenix eventually. I want them teaming eventually again. Like it's just cool that he's here.
But then you've got talents like Mello as well, who'd be great. Obviously you're like Axiom as well down the line. There's a lot of cool stuff. But yeah, whether it's like high flying lucha match or big guy, little guy, which he thrives at as well. So
the big dream match we're missing: Rey Fenix versus Grande Americano.
Oh, absolutely.
That would be a big one. Biggest one. 2 Mexican legends wrestling. Speaking of Mello, I didn't realize that Mello Don't Miz is a real thing.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Trick, save your boy. Like makeup, just save your boy.
Wow.
Him is like one of the worst.
But then he made me laugh because Mello's like, we're working on that.
Yeah.
He knows this shit. Pretty Deadly fucking wrecked them with the Leonardo DiCaprio line saying, Miz, you're basically the tag team wrestling's Leonardo. Like you have 9 different, you just trade your partners in for new and younger.
Yeah. Like I'm remaining for now optimistic if this does lead to a Trick Williams thing, because I think you're looking at the way both their characters are going, and especially we mentioned this on NXT with Javon being like, you're just Carmelo Hayes, that's all you are,
right?
To Trick, and Trick turning more heelish. It could be a way to just, Melo for now is just playing around with this guy just to kind of use him maybe to get that TV time. Miz is a former champion and all that, and then when his boy's ready, like after Stand and Deliver season, I think you could go that way, and Trick just murders the Miz and get these boys back together. Yeah. We have Naomi and Jade Cargill now set for WrestleMania. I think Naomi's been great, and I really hope she wins this match, because I think she's really surprised me actually since the heel turn. I think she's really owning it, and it's working.
Yeah, it's like Jade could just squash her, which I'm like, because I think she kind of deserves to win. Jade, I don't think Jade is necessarily improved in ring. I mean, she's been away for so long, so we'll have to see. But this is either going to be a squash match, or maybe hopefully Naomi does win. She has been the star of this feud, and I think it's been pretty good. And I think maybe she wanted to showcase like, hey, like we can do more than what I was doing before, which was like the glow stuff and everything. It's a total new take on. I think going to TNA was like a really smart decision for her, and maybe opened up her like creative a little bit there. So I think she's really doing a good job. I can't say I'm necessarily excited for a Jade match, but I hope we get something interesting coming out of it.
Yeah. I just think with the new character, it makes more sense for Naomi to win. And you can do it protecting Jade, because Naomi's a heel. She can cheat or whatever. And I'm kind of looking at Bianca coming out of Mania as the champion. And that's something you can build to a Naomi Bianca match down the line. Which I think would be really good. And I do think we've said this since day one of Jade being in AEW. We get why she's on TV. Look at her. Like, she's got that star quality about her, but the matches just aren't hitting yet. And I think maybe there's some, like, the most interest there's been in Naomi for years, I would say. So run with it.
No, absolutely. I think Naomi should win. Absolutely.
All right. We also had the last man standing match between Braun Strowman and Jacob Fatu, number 1 contender for the US title. Jacob Fatu going over and will be facing LA Knight at WrestleMania. So no Fatu versus Solo. Kind of weird match, but I had a lot of fun with it. I've continued to enjoy these just monster truck matches they put on TV every now and then, and I thought this lived up to it as well.
Like Fatu has just slid into WWE effortlessly. Like he feels already like he's been a character going for a while, and he fits what you want in WWE. He can do these big like car crash matches with the big table spots and everything. I thought it was pretty fun. Even for a Braun match, like the table spots and the suplex was pretty awesome. And Fatu going over, meaning we get that match. It's like, yeah, you're forcing now. People are going to split between like LA Knight is still pretty over. Now I told you I'm watching the rest of SmackDown today on Netflix that's been edited. And I was like, hey, LA Knight's still pretty popular. I don't know if it's just because they edited in a lot of stuff, but
no, he's still pretty over.
He's still pretty over. And so is Jacob. So like, I think Fatu should win. Which is unfortunate for LA Knight, but like he's still popular. But you know what? I thought this was maybe a lot better than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah. I actually think this kind of second run of Braun, I don't need to see him anywhere near a world title or anything like that. But I think he's been delivering with these feuds with like Bronson Reed and Jacob Fatu and these kind of things. He's good at this kind of style. And it is quite fun to like break up the show with something like this. And I do think he's improved in that sense. I think Fatu has to go over at Mania. And then you transition that into the Solo Sikoa feud, I'd say pretty quickly after.
Yeah.
And LA Knight doesn't need a title, really. I don't think he's still
pretty popular. Like I still like him, but it's like,
that's what I mean though. Like he's popular enough that I think people just enjoy him being out there and doing something. He doesn't necessarily need to be a champion though.
Right.
I think. Yeah. Any other thoughts from SmackDown this week?
I'm trying to think. No, I think that was like about it that comes to mind. The stuff obviously
DIY machine guns underwhelming again.
Yeah, that was a shame too. I was thinking that I didn't necessarily get to any level, which is odd.
Do you see that match being so it's Machine Gun Street Profits? Is that going to be on Mania? Is that going to be SmackDown before Mania?
I guess the SmackDown. I don't know necessarily. I wouldn't mind like the ladder match again for the tags. I think that should be something, but I don't know.
Well, Rusev Miro has re-signed with WWE. Where do you see Rusev ending up?
In a tank.
In a tank?
Again. I mean, we will see him, I'm sure, post-Mania. Maybe we get a big return. It's just his AEW run was weird. He had some good moments. I think the Bryan Danielson match, the arcade match, I think.
I think his whole TNT run was fun.
Yeah. He had some moments, like some stuff, but then the later half, it just, I don't know. He felt like the Aleister Black kind of thing. Like you're here, something was off. I don't know.
He pisses me off. Like, because I was a huge Rusev fan in WWE, and I think saw the potential, and especially when you started seeing his personality come through more, like thinking like the Rusev Day stuff, and you go, oh, this guy's, and Total Divas, you go, oh, this guy's actually pretty funny. And then going into AEW and like thinking this guy should be a killer, this guy should be towards the top of the card. How about I just play video games with Kip Sabian instead? You're like, what? Yeah. That's your choice? Eventually they got it right with the TNT title run. And then I always said, like, I thought once he lost that title, you had Hangman Page as the champion then. I thought that would have been a great match you could have done at a pay-per-view. Hangman versus Rusev, Miro, just a hard-hitting thing. But yeah, you get the sense that it's not wanting to lose, maybe not taking the company overly seriously and not wanting to diminish his stock by taking losses or whatever. In my mind, it did diminish his stock just not being on TV. And I'd say the same with Aleister Black. I'd say the same with Andrade. And all three I've been fans of at a time. But it just, if you don't want to work, like why should I care about watching you if you don't want to perform? So I really don't see where you could put him in this monster division with your Brawns and your Fatus and your Bronson Reeds when they're ready, maybe, but I don't really see what's going to be different this time.
Yeah, I can't say I'm super excited because, like, is it going to be the same thing? Are we going to do Rusev Day again? Are we going to get the entrance guy singing for him? Or like, I like when he was more.
You got
serious.
The TNA connection. You could bring Aiden English back. Yeah,
you could. Yeah, just don't say his tag team partner's name. I do like. I want to see an evolution of him, and we got glimpses of it in AEW when we did get the Redeemer and all that kind of stuff. But I hope he can prove some people wrong, and like it makes sense to come back to WWE. He's a big, huge dude. He could easily, be a nice mid-carder there. I think so. We'll see. I mean, on SmackDown they had the Aleister Black stuff too, right? That vignette, which had like the music did kind of sound like his music. So I do think that is clearly him.
So do you see Lana coming back as well, as they have
reconciled?
They've reconciled. They renewed their vows. I guess it was a good part of the act. Like I think like that original run of Lana and Rusev was pretty strong.
Okay, so let's just do that. Let's have Lana come out on, the Raw after Mania actually coincides with Rusev Day. So that should have her come out with when she'd always start talking.
Pneumonia.
Pneumonia. And then come out and be like, yo, Americans, you best start learning Russian.
Well, I was just going to say, are they baby faces now? Because America and Russia are just best buds, aren't they?
Y'all are brothers.
You've got to have all the Canadians as the heels and the Mexicans as the heels, and Russia finally are the good guys, right?
I'm kind of down to see if they do that. I guess because they were public about them splitting up, and then they're like, oh, actually, I guess she really is flexible because they're back together, and maybe we'll see them on the Raw after Mania.
You see him moving to Raw? Is that the
Raw or SmackDown? Either, but like the Raw after Mania would be pretty cool, I guess.
Yeah. And well, I think that's it for WWE chat this week, unless there's anything else that you're aware of that's happened.
No, I mean, we talked about Raw on Up Next, and we talked about John Cena and Cody, and I think how this week when they were going back and forth, it was finally really hitting, and I think we need something more like that. I hope we do see John Cena before WrestleMania. I still am interested about The Rock. I think we're going to get a bit of what like they realized last year in what everyone calls the best 5 minutes of WWE history, with the run-ins from like Cena, The Rock, Taker. I think we're going to get a repeat of that, but this time Stone Cold will correct the mistake. Okay. Yeah, I do see Stone Cold. He's there. We know he is. He's part of a bunch of signings and a bunch of stuff. I do see. I saw something. Cody brought something up in some sort of interview, and it really tells me that I do think this time around it'll be Austin saving Cody from The Rock, right? Because last year it was Cena coming out to face The Rock, right? Or The Rock came out to face Cena and he hit him and he rock bottomed him. This time around it's The Rock coming out to save Cena, and in return maybe.
Or you think he's coming out to save Cena?
Oh no,
and save Cody.
That's where I think Randy would
Cody stuns him. You got Rock, Cena, and Austin. They're the three.
No, it would be Randy if it would be a third guy, because that would be funny. But either way, I do think we're getting a big moment. I do think Cody should retain. I think Cena winning. We have our show coming out again. Listen to Champ is Here, episode 8, because Jason Solomon, the Solomon Monster, Davie, and I go into some modern day John Cena talk as well, and it leads for a great discussion leading into this match and kind of where we think it should go, because Solomon Monster, I think, sold us on, but shouldn't a heel champ run be pretty cool? And I'm kind of like, oh yeah, Cody should win, but how good? Ruck Fools, let's go. Cena for champ, 17 time, baby. Book it.
He's got to go for that 18. Have the heel run and the baby.
Fuck Ric Flair, man. Get just what is it? Records are meant to be broken, because Davie, we stand here today, a great record.
A record-breaking day.
What a day today. Not only was it Poisonrana live on Sunday, April 6th, but disgraced Canadian hero Wayne Gretzky. Yeah, I said what I said. His record has been broken. The goals in a single season. What is it? Ovechkin. Or no, it's just single. I think just goals all time goals, right? Yeah. Ovechkin overtopping Wayne Gretzky. And Wayne Gretzky, who's been going on tour with him, following him around in the cuck chair, just watching him break his record.
Doing the Oscars clap.
Now you say, Bray, what's wrong? Is Wayne Gretzky? He's a Canadian legend. Yeah, he was. We don't claim him anymore. He's American now. So Wayne Gretzky, we used to love you. And we still do, but not right now, dude. And then he bitches and moans to his friends and family. Why don't Canadians like me anymore? Because you're at the games with the FBI of America. You're at the games in your fucking MAGA hat and matching colors, you prick. Come on. You're not one. You haven't said anything during this whole thing. Our one hero. So Bret Hart, I'm looking at you too. You're now bumped up to number one, I guess. Celine, I guess, needs to come out and say something. But Wayne, you deserve to have your record break today.
Yes.
So sorry. There's my rant, my TED Talk.
Well, there was a new episode of Dark Side of the Ring that came out this week. I think we're going to finish on that today. About Ludwig Borger. A guy I got to admit I'm not overly familiar with Ludwig Borger. He wasn't in WWE for that long. But for me, I thought this was back on form. This is the kind of Dark Side of the Ring I like when I am being educated on stuff I don't like. And what a racist prick.
What a piece of shit.
What a fucking horrible person.
You're so right. Last week we were like, oh, Dark Side's back. And the first episode was on Hell in a Cell. And like, if you were not super familiar with it, it would be a great episode because you'd learn all these things. But I felt like that's something that's been beat over time, that we're just kind of like, we know everything it is. Yeah, it's crazy and a big moment, but like, just, it's like a song you've heard too many times. It doesn't mean the song's bad. It's just like, yeah, I'm kind of over it a little bit. Like, I want to hear other things. And I love when Dark Side teaches me things that I'm not familiar with, or does episodes on things that never really got some shine or some things into light. So this was exactly, you said, they're back like in rare form, and that's perfect because this was great. I knew of this guy, but didn't know half the stuff. So this felt like a whole documentary. This felt like was it Stefan from SNL when he's like, yo, this dark side episode's got Nazis, it's got shootings, it's got political like parties, it's got UFC, it's got Vikings, it's the whole hot new thing. This Dark Side
paper mache Viking hat.
Like this had everything. Every 5 minutes I was like, excuse me. So Dark Side, you've done it again. You guys are they do some fantastic stuff. And this episode had me scratching my head because what a guy Ludwig.
I love how over the past few years I'm not the biggest Jim Ross fan. You know, right. I haven't enjoyed his commentary particularly, and just his grumpiness in general.
Sure.
But I do love how he has no issue speaking ill of the dead. We've seen it with Warrior in the past, where he's like, okay, yeah, it's sad he's passed, but he fucking sucked. And here, just like,
he calls him an asshole.
I don't know how we let this asshole slip through the cracks, and like, we clearly didn't do our checks, but not holding back, not mincing his words.
What a story.
Just nuts though. Like, can you imagine? And Scott Norton, he wasn't interviewed on this show, but
I wish he was.
The Collision in Korea, he became a bit of a hero of that show, I thought.
Yeah.
And Scott Norton, someone I was never particularly interested in watching as a wrestler, but after that episode, I was like, oh yeah. And then hearing he's the guy that's like, yo, what's that fucking tattoo Nazi you got there? And I'm not talking about the exit only tattoo, but and kind of getting into it with Borger. Like, shout out Scott Norton.
Yeah, sorry, as I was saying, it's got everything. I forgot ass tats is something is forgot. Like, yeah, I wish we got Scott Norton's side.
Rap videos.
Finnish rap, Nazi rap. Like, what the fuck? Yeah, this was great. Like, fuck this guy, but it was a great documentary here. This guy was on like bit acting parts, WKRP radio, the Cincinnati, the show. Like, I had no idea. Just like all the little things. Jim Cornette, we've definitely given our thoughts on him. Like, I love him on Dark Side. I don't necessarily agree with some of the stuff he says on his shows, but I can understand that people like him. And I used to love him when he was on TV back in the day in wrestling. Like, I was a big fan back in the day, and I am a big fan of when he is on Dark Side because he has a lot of knowledge and he was there in the trenches. He knows a lot of stuff, and he had me fucking dying. I had to stop the episode and rewind it when he's talking about the exit only ass tat. That is incredible. Like, what a tattoo. Like, hey, how do you want to let people know that you hate gay people? How about you get one of the worst fucking tattoos above your ass, which kind of looks pretty gay, actually. So, like, that's the worst fucking tattoo I've ever. That's up there. That's like up there, bro. Like, holy shit. So Cornette had me rolling laughing at him describing this tattoo. And yeah, and then it goes into like what the guy was owning Uzis and selling steroids allegedly, and all these kind of crazy things. And
it was interesting as well the comparisons they made with Trump in his political career about how he'd say lies and then say lies to cover up the lies and then forget what he's even said because he just says things in the moment because he knows it will just get a reaction and there's no basis of fact or evidence or any of that into what he's saying. He's just saying stuff for the sake of it and forgets about it immediately. And it seemed like it worked for him in Finland. He got a lot of support in there. And I mean, we are seeing the same in the States right now as well. So I found that part of it quite interesting too.
I thought this whole episode was interesting. Like the fact that you said like JR's like, man, we didn't do a good job. He's like, yeah, you didn't like check that this guy was like a bit of a
you got to bet your hires. Come on, there are references for a reason when you apply for a job.
Be like, yeah, he was a good guy. He's pretty big. He'll do whatever he's told. But ask to see his tattoo and ask him about that.
Yeah.
like maybe the guy was just getting these things to get a rise out of people, to get known. Like maybe he was using that, but he sounded like not the greatest guy. But it made for like, you know, he went from wrestling and then Japan wrestling, WWE, and being the silly Viking. What a goofy looking outfit this guy had at the Herb Abrams Fed. That outfit, you look like a fucking dork in that.
He needed to wear Abrams red cowboy boots
with the Viking hat,
hat as well.
And then him in UFC getting like, you know,
tapped out. Randy Couture, right?
Yeah, that's fucking crazy.
They're both their debut fights.
Who lasted longer in a UFC fight? Ludwig Borga or CM Punk? I think Punk lasted longer than this. They said he tapped out in a minute to Randy Couture. Like that.
Yeah, I think Punk lasted over a minute.
Yeah, and they were like, "Oh, this guy's actually not a fighter." So his career didn't go off, but Randy
he definitely resembles Brock Lesnar though. Like looking at him, like the mohawk, even
the body
not
type.
Not all the tattoos, but some of the tattoos, the body type, and by the sounds of it, the way they were pushing him, you know, coming in and just ending Tatanka's streak right away in dominant fashion and all that. Like you could see, like a guy like this would come around once in a while, and you could see why Vince would just get obsessed with them. But everyone say I had zero talent. He had no talent.
Everyone interviewed was like, this guy sucked. This guy, like in the ring and outside the ring, no one wanted to work with him because he was a fucking Nazi, he was racist, he's all this sexist, all this kind of stuff. Like, and on top of that, he wasn't good. So, like, he was definitely going for an Arnold like thing, like Arnold Schwarzenegger thing, where it's like, oh, I'm gonna just become famous any way.
His story sounded really similar because I went to Arnie's house, like his childhood house in Graz, Austria, and you read all this thing about that. His main dream was being a Hollywood actor and a politician, but the only way he saw, I can't remember the actor's name, but it was the actor who played Hercules.
Right.
He was Mr. Universe first. And for him, he was like, oh, that's how I get to Hollywood. I've got to be Mr. Universe. So his dad wouldn't let him train because he was too young. So he built his own weight machine in his room. He'd like climb out the window to run to a gym and that kind of thing. Because in his mind, it wasn't, oh, I need to take acting classes and stuff. It was, no, I've got to be as big and impressive looking as possible so people don't miss me at all. And it worked. And it was, there were definitely similarities there. And again, with Arnie, going into politics as well on top of that.
Yeah, very similar. Like you could see he was trying to follow that like career path of like, hey, it worked for this guy. So, but he didn't get as big. Like he was just naturally a big dude, but he didn't get like as jacked. Funny enough, I actually just went on a bit of an Arnie. I watched Total Recall and Judgment Day the other week at work, and I'm like, man, those are probably my two favorite Arnold movies. Like Judgment Day, Terminator 2 is a fucking banger, but is Total Recall.
Not Junior? Where's Junior fit into
Twins? Jingle All the Way, also 5-star classics. But I love, and I've been telling you to get on the White Lotus train because his son I think he will become he's not as jacked as his dad, but I also think his son is a pretty awesome actor and will probably have a pretty strong career. But it's just funny the comparisons in this episode where it's like this guy wants to be like Arnold or, you know, some big foreign villain, and people are like, yeah, we don't even know where Finland is or care really to It's like, oh, that's why.
It's funny when they said
for him.
about like Vince is like, oh, he's foreign, he's a bad guy, and everyone's like, Finland is
Pretty
like
chill, yeah.
home of some of the chillest, just nicest people who keep themselves to themselves.
Apparently not,
apart
because
from
they
this
voted.
guy.
Yeah, they voted for this guy.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Sorry, Finland. Like, get it together. I hope you have in the past. But yeah, Dark Side yet again, from the production to some of the people they interview and the stories. Like these are what is way more interesting to me, because I was not familiar with all these things. So great job as always. And like the other episodes this season are gonna. What's next week? Do we know? Forget.
Big Van Vader.
Oh man, so excited about that.
Maybe we could give out our Vader double bill when that's dropped as well.
True. Yeah. We did the Boy Meets World and Baywatch with Brandon from New Jersey, and that was a pretty fun episodes and review there. But I think this is the big one for me then. Vader episode. Yeah. I'm excited. Very excited. It's definitely gonna make me go watch Vader clips and stuff afterwards. So definitely excited about that. So great job, Dark Side, as always.
All right. Well, no AEW chat this week, as we mentioned at the top of the show, because the pay-per-view is just mere hours away. But I do just want to say one thing, and then we'll hit on everything on Tuesday. But you deserve it. I know. Cinema from this week. Got goosebumps. That definitely got me into AEW and Dynamite, and reinvigorated my interest in the product a little bit with just those few words at the end of the show. So looking forward to see if that plays into anything with Dynasty and everything going forward on the build to Double or Nothing and All In. But yeah, I'm excited. It definitely feels a bit of a B pay-per-view, but I'm sure, as always, there's going to be some really solid stuff. So we'll be talking all about that on Wednesday.
Yes, Wednesday, 3 p.m. Eastern time on Post Wrestling on Up Next. We'll be live 3 p.m. Wednesday, chatting all about some NXT, and then we will go into our Dynasty chat. So it'll be a bit of an Up Next Poisonrana double shot on Wednesday. So join us live, whether you're at work, on the go, just tune in live and hear our thoughts on all the show. And if you're watching tonight, enjoy the show, have fun. And check out all the other stuff. Again, if you're not following us on socials, then please do. So follow us on Instagram, Poisonrana Pod, Twitter, Blue Sky, poisonrana.ca for all the links of all the other stuff. If you're listening to this on our free feed, check out all the other shows. We recently dropped a new What Up Doe with B Detroit and Sino Evil. Sino Evil also dropping his Shot in the Dark every week. So lots of free shows. We got a Detox on there from a few weeks ago. We got Eagles Don't Hunt Flies. And we will be dropping tomorrow for free. Champ is Here, episode 8. Solomonster, Davie, and myself chatting all about the 8th title reign of John Cena. And I'm making it free for everyone. It'll stream live tomorrow, 6 p.m. on Monday, but it'll be available for all of you here on this free feed. So hit that download and get it ready. Hit that follow if you haven't, and appreciate all the love out there.
I want to give one more shout out for What Up Doe this week. I finished listening to that yesterday. Great show, as always. These guys every month seem to they talk about gaming and stuff, and I'm like, oh, maybe I should look at getting a PS5. And then I look at the price and I realize that I never play video games, but they talk about it all in such a way where I get excited about it and be like, oh man, I want to.
I'm in a kick right now, actually. Yeah?
Nice.
So I got my girlfriend bought me the Marvel Capcom 2. It's got all the old Marvel Capcom fighting games in one game. So I've been playing that and leveling up. But then from that I was like, oh, should I have just gotten Zelda, like Breath of the Wild? Ever since I seen Stone Cold say Breath of the Wild is his favorite over Ocarina, I was like, fuck. Yeah. Even Cody's like, Breath is pretty good. So I went and found it on Marketplace. I bought it from some teenage girl and her dad for like $40, $30. And I come home to play it. And instead now my girlfriend's been playing it the whole time. So Breath of the Wild apparently is pretty good. So I do need to get on that.
They've announced the movie coming out, haven't they?
Is that legit? Is that another April Fool's thing?
No, it's legit this time. The Legend of Zelda movie, which I've been calling for years. Yeah. So I'm very excited about that one.
So I've been in a bit of my gaming thing. And then of course I'm like, yeah, Switch games. They announced Switch 2. They announced all the new games you have to get on the new system. I'm like, fucks.
I feel I'd be more interested in getting a Switch 2 than a PS5 at the moment, I think.
I'm telling you, I love the Switch and all the little things that come with it. All the games I have are pretty fun and stuff. But Yeah, I've been in a bit of a gaming thing there, so definitely check out What Up Doe for their chat on 2K. Maybe they'll download a Ludwig Borga in 2K25. I'm sure some fucker has created him with the SS tattoo.
Oh, probably.
You know what I played yesterday? Here Comes the Pain with Graham. Still the GOAT game. It's so much fun. Badass Undertaker in the back area on the motorcycle. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
still the best.
One more thing, a brand new episode of Eagles Don't Hunt Flies will be dropping this week on this very free feed. Stepping in for Dickie, who's on paternity leave. Congratulations.
Oh, congrats, Dickie.
Will be Grapple Gareth taking his place. So Grapple Gareth with Bushby and Brandon for this week's episode of Eagles Don't Hunt Flies, which I believe the show is going to be wrapping up this summer. So enjoy that. It'll be both on the YouTube and the podcast feed.
Amazing. Excellent stuff. So as always, appreciate everyone in the chat. We will be back on Wednesday. Follow us. Check out the Patreon if you haven't already, and all the other shows that we do, because we appreciate all the love out there. So that is it. That is all. Catch us on Wednesday. Take care of yourselves. Take care. Goodbye. Be safe. Support Canada. Elbows up. And I don't know. Bye.
Ahoy!
Poisonrana.